Hi there, I'm back again. My name is Ben. In this video, I want to explain to you things you should know before you start your dissertation. Dissertation is an important part of every student journey, but there are things that are going to demoralize you, make you have poor qualities, and even affect your completion date when you're not aware of them. This video explains to you things you as a student should know, things that you're expected to do, and things that your school and your supervisors are expected to do. I want to demonstrate them one by one. Follow me. So we are here. I want to explain to you things that you should know before you start your dissertation topic. Now, as we have discussed, dissertation is an important part, not only in academic, but also in your life because it sets the basis for what you're going to do in the next level. Must know before you start your dissertation. First of all, this discussion is divided into two. What is expected of you and what is expected of the school where you are doing your master's or your PhD level. Now, the first part of the expectation is you are the main character in your academic. That's why there is a lot that is expected of you because after all, this degree is about you and this degree is yours. The first part that is expected of you is either you do online classes, in-person classes. You must know the rules that are set by your school in relation to topic selection. In my previous video, there's a video I did on selecting a dissertation topic, and we talked extensively about rules, and we realized that rules are the main component of creating your topic. Now, to extend that, you are still expected to understand what are the guidelines when I'm selecting a topic. Now, some of the guidelines will be, and the most obvious ones are, you must select a topic within your major, you must select a topic that is scholarly, you must select a topic that is not discriminatory, you must select a topic that does not offend other sectors of the community, and so on and so forth. So you are expected to understand the guidelines towards the selection of your topic. Now, the second thing is that every institution will have an outline of an expectation of what students are expected to cover in every phase of their dissertation. Now, those are called outlines. Now, outlines stipulate what do you include in chapter 1, what do you include in chapter 2, what do you include in chapter 3, what type of data is expected from you, and so on and so forth. Then there is the number of words. Number of words is something you're supposed to know before you even think of starting your dissertation. Number of words, as simple as it may sound, is very complicated because if a paper requires 10,000 words and another paper requires 50,000 words, you need to know that before you start. You need to know that so that you can select a topic that will be able to satisfy the length that is expected of you by your institution. Now, the other thing is the style. Now, these are the simple dynamics that should click right in your mind the moment you want to do a dissertation. Now, referencing style will determine or guide how you're going to interact with references. That means the moment you start chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you should reference the right way from the beginning. Now, correct referencing is an academic habit that every scholar, mostly masters and PhD student, must be very conversant with. That's why it's an important expectation for students who want to major into their dissertation. The other thing is the material source is very important based on the type of the problem you want to solve in the community. For example, some institutions are going to limit students from sourcing materials from unauthorized sources, online sources, the materials that are not peer reviewed, and even materials that are irrelevant for that particular study. If you are, let's say, in Canada and you are solving a problem in Canada, it will only be wise for you to consider materials that have solved the same problem in Canada, reference them heavily. And also another part is that some schools are going to stipulate you to use some of the course materials that you have studied in class. So you may want to have a library access If your school has a library, you need to have a library access. Doesn't have to be a physical library. Most of the libraries nowadays are online. You need to have an access to that library so that you can access peer-reviewed articles that you're going to use for your study. Now, another one is a submission. Most schools are going to require students to submit their work in terms of milestones. So it's very hard for you to find an institution that wants you to submit the final paper once. Some of them will expect you to submit an outline, you submit a concept paper, you submit a proposal, you submit a preliminary data that you've corrected, and then finally, if everything is approved, you submit the final report. Now, milestone submission is important because it helps you to know what you are doing wrong, what you need to change, how you need to improve it, and so on and so forth. And finally, there is that correction matrix that you are going to get every time you submit a draft. You are going to expect some correction from your supervisors, from your education advisors, and so on and so forth. Now, the correction matrix is key in making you create a scholarly outcome of your research paper that you are doing. Now, all that said, there is also some expectation that you need to understand of the school before you start your paper. And the first one is that school is expected to assign you a supervisor. Yes, most of the time students select their supervisors and they submit for approval. But in some instances, you may try to select a supervisor who is not interested in supervising you. So the school has that responsibility of ensuring that they have coached their supervisors. Supervisors understand they are within the same major, they are available, they are able to communicate, they are going to interact with you professionally, and so on and so forth. Another expectation is that now that you have a supervisor, how do you keep in touch? How do you communicate? Some of them you send them an email today, they don't reply. A month is down, 2 months are down. You call them, they don't pick. You set a meeting, they don't come to the meeting. You're going to have a very complicated interaction with the supervisors that you already have. And finally, there is that school role that is very key, and is authorization. Authorization means, particularly when you're done with your chapter 1, 2, and 3, there is a higher need for you to have documents that can help others know who you are. Look at an instance like you want to correct data from a hospital. And most of the data in hospital, you may say, are, you can say, sensitive data. Other places are business, um, government offices. Some of those places are going to have very sensitive data. And you would want to have an authorization that will help you to correct the data. Why is this aspect important before you start your dissertation? This is the reason. When you are selecting your topic, there is that element of the population that you want to focus on. Assume you're focusing on an area. Let's say you want to correct some military data or the military operations in your topic. You would want to consult your school whether that is viable. You'd want to consult your school whether they'll give you an authorization or an identification letter that can help the target population understand what you are doing is purely scholarly and you don't have any bad intention. So authorization become a key part for any scholarly work, which help you to introduce yourself to other organizations as a professional who is trying to solve a problem by doing research. So that's it. The two parts is your expectation as a student and the expectations of the school, what they're expected to do, how they're supposed to contribute. And most important part is that your role are always the heavy ones, because at the end of the day, the degree is about you, the topic you select is about you, and everything revolves about you because you are the one in need. So that's it. The things you should know before you think of starting a dissertation. That's it. Thank you.